I had a nice speech prepared, but Simon took all my talking points. But I guess with no speakers this evening, you'll probably hear the same themes being reported. So I just want to give you an alert on that. But other than that, namaste, good afternoon. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edwin Paul. I'm the chair of INZBC, the India-New Zealand Business Council, the proud co-host of this event along with the Auckland Business Chamber. It's my honor and privilege to acknowledge and welcome the Honourable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Shri Piyush Goyal, our own New Zealand Minister for Agriculture, Forestry, Trade and Investment, Honourable Todd Makeley, Her Excellency Nita Bhushanji, High Commissioner of India for New Zealand, His Excellency Dr. Madan Mohan Sethi, Counsel General for India and Auckland, Simon Bridges, CEO of Auckland Business Chamber, Honourable Members of Parliament, past and present from India and New Zealand. I also want to acknowledge, sorry it's a long list, I also want to acknowledge our guests from FICCI, CI and ASSOCHAM, our peer organizations in India. I'd like to also acknowledge members of the Indian delegation who've come as part of these organizations, and some Kiwi businesses who've traveled. I know a few have come in from Christchurch, from Wellington, just to make it to this event. So I thank you all. And I also would like to acknowledge members of the India and New Zealand media, Kirano and Namaste. It's my privilege today to join you today in this special forum to address such a distinguished gathering of business leaders, policymakers, and delegates from India and New Zealand. I would especially like to welcome and thank the Honourable Mr. Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry of India, whose visit comes at a moment of historic significance in our bilateral relationship. His presence here, alongside his business delegation brought by FICCI, marks a milestone in the journey towards a comprehensive free trade agreement between India and New Zealand. The last time I addressed our members, I recalled a verse from Rabindranath Tagore, and some of you might have heard this before, but I repeat this again for the interest of our ministers and for the others who missed that. Tagore, our Nobel laureate, writes, "Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark." Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. All right, that is kind of the sense that we are all in at the moment. We know that it's going to be dawn. We know that inevitably there's going to be some good news, but it's still hard. We're still negotiating. It's still not done yet, right? So I'm just kind of preempting or setting the scene for things to come later. Today we gather in that moment before dawn on the cusp of a new era in India-New Zealand relationship. India and New Zealand, as you know, share a deep and enduring relationship rooted in shared democratic values, membership of the Commonwealth, principles of rule of law, open governance, and without saying, a common love for the game of cricket. However, besides the obvious ones, I want to call out today specifically our people-to-people relationships, connections that are vibrant, reflected in over 240,000 people of Indian origin who now call Aotearoa New Zealand home, contributing to sectors from education to enterprise. Culturally and economically, our ties are diverse, and that is actually an opportunity. There is no competition, we are different, there's enough room to play around different things, right? In recent years, you will hear this time and again that India has become one of New Zealand's largest fast-growing markets. Two-way trade increased approximately 2.6 billion annually. However, that's barely scratching the surface of the full potential of this relationship. This is just a teaser, folks. Just watch what happens. India today stands as the world's fifth largest economy, and it's projected to reach third position by 2030. Its dynamic growth, expanding middle class, and innovation-driven sectors from pharmaceuticals to renewable energy make it a priority partner for economies like New Zealand. I don't want to go into the details of the free trade agreement or how many times we met and what time it's taken. That will be, most of you know the details. Again, you'll hear it again. But I want to kind of leave the audience with 4 specific things that we might need to do. And I keep reflecting with my board, saying, all this while for the last 14, 15 years, we've been talking about getting an FTA, right? So, and when that happens, what next? Right? Or if that doesn't happen, then what? Right? We just can't keep saying we want it. So either or not, we just need to have a roadmap.
You are very low opinion about God and me.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm very optimistically hoping to hear more from you. Not at all. I just want to leave it to the experts, Minister. I don't want to fill it up with my ignorance. But as business leaders today, we should view the FTA as not as a distant promise, but as a catalyst to act now. Like I said, we've seen it's been over a decade-long aspiration, right? So we kind of get the sense, and things may be delayed, things may take longer, but then if you just, I can't re-emphasize the cadence and the speed of things that has been happening. And you hear this again, commitments personally by the ministers, the timing, the frequency, the theme, the bonhomie, everything was a huge investment in this. And this could take a little longer, right? And all we can do is not lose hope and say, hey, no, this is not happening, but actually, give us all the energy to keep going for that extra mile. Probably the last mile? We can't say yet, but we're keen to hear more, right? So as business leaders, I thought it'll be good for us to kind of set the scene and say, what do we need to be doing now? So one is to identify niche export markets. And now we're talking to experts. Our level of engagement has come down to operational level. So it's not the most obvious tourism or dairy or agriculture, but there's far more diversity in options that are available for engagement. So I would encourage that. And also start preparing in a what-if scenario, right? An early prep-like scenario. If we get the FTA, what is the impact on our business? What will be the immediate impact? So start playing out those scenarios just as you would do at a board level. And the third thing is start forming the strategic relationships. This is just one of the many delegations when we talk within our stakeholders. Next year is going to be super busy. I can already start counting over half a dozen delegations back and forth, right? So have your powders dry, right? Be ready for short notice visits, but that's the tempo of things that's happening. And lastly, engage with government and industry forums to input into the FTA process. Again, it's not just the formal consultations, but every connection that you can help support this relationship, every opportunity that you can help with, please do that. So to the Indian business community here, that has come from India primarily, the FICCI delegation, New Zealand offers a gateway to the Pacific, reliability of business, environment, and global quality credentials. And to the Kiwi business community, India offers scale, dynamism, innovation, and a rapidly expanding middle class with evolving demand patterns. And when I talk to people who I help get into the India market, I kind of emphasize that one clear message. In India, most often, the opportunity is the challenge. Right, I can break it down into, and when we talked about business, market entry strategies, there's not just one opportunity. There's multiple ways a business can enter India. So it's not like what, so go with that. The scale, the size, the diversity would be the challenges. So be prepared for that. Our challenge and our opportunity is to move from bilateral trade of goods and transactional relationships to co-creating ecosystems, joint R&D, co-manufacture, second-tier services, and deeper supply chain integration. Today, I call on each of you here to make the India-New Zealand partnership real in your own domain. Whatever industry you are, ask, how can I work with my counterpart in India or New Zealand to unlock value, not just export-sale transaction, but co-innovation, co-investment, and potential joint ventures. I also urge our respective governments and business councils to maintain momentum in the FTA discussions, and for the private sector to be active participants in shaping the outcomes. In closing, I commend the Auckland Business Chamber and the India-New Zealand Business Council for stepping up to this occasion and putting up this great event. And let us commit to making this year ahead not just one of hope, but one of concrete business deals, investment flows, joint projects, and deeper trust between our two great nations. To that effect, I'd like to conclude with one of the great words of wisdom and leadership of Lord Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, where the epitome of yoga is explained. It says, let us commit ourselves fully to the purposeful action, for it is sincere effort that defines true outcome. Thank you.